Yo, it's ODB from OLP, and this is Sport Truck June 99 cover. We're going to look at this feature. Dan Webb Hot Rods built Ford Ranger. Really, in my opinion, one of the baddest Ford Rangers ever built. Now, obviously, we're mini truckers, and we tend to review mini Truckin and lean towards mini trucks and trucks that were built part of our scene. But really, if you don't know, this Ranger is just totally insane. And really, to me, it's like another level. It was on this cover. It was on an obscure, another magazine that's hard to come by as well. It was on that cover. But what I want to do is I want to look just briefly here. Jim Ost, I think is how you pronounce it. He shot this feature, Secret Formula, on page 30. And we'll jump over here. A-U-S-T was Jim's last name. Now, I've tagged him. He's not super active on Instagram, but I've tagged him, and he's chimed in the past. He mentioned how there was an S10 that I tagged him in, and he mentioned how a lot of times, even if a truck was laid out, they would ask him to air it up because they kind of had a different approach. Obviously, a sport truck magazine. Now, they did show, obviously, body trucks and trucks laying out. But this truck, although it has a lot of work in it, it's not laid flat on the ground. So, around this era, body drops start to become super popular. But if you look at the amount of work that's involved in this truck, easily, it's one of the baddest Ford Rangers ever built, in my opinion. Dan Webb's Hot Rods. What I'll do is I'll hover over this in case you need to, if you want to read it or take screenshots. You can see the interior, just insane, all metal dash, super clean engine bay. I mean, if you just look at the amount of work in it, what was done to the body of this truck, it's just awesome. Now, I love the photo shoot too. Obviously, kind of a studio. I would assume Jim could chime in if I tag him on Instagram, but based upon what I can kind of see there, nice little backdrop they would have put together and making it look like a workshop. You've got the sport truck decal on the kind of plastic or metal license plate, a couple magazines there, some tools. You got a couple of the ladies, Meredith Blankenship and Monica Seralt, I believe is how you pronounce their names. And just a killer truck. Now, again, most mini truckers might chime in and go, well, I never saw this one at a show. I believe it went to SEMA 98. But you got to remember, even digital cameras weren't big then. So if you go back at some of the main websites a lot of us go to, it's really hard to find, other than publications, content from, mid 90s SEMA as well as even 98. Now, I do have some footage. I don't believe this is in the footage I have from Steve Nielsen. Now, it's kind of a travesty that it really only got a 3-page feature plus this column. And of course, they weren't all color at that time. But you can take a look at this. Major work included a filled tailgate, a sectioned body, and an enlarged rear window opening. The Ranger fans will obviously hone right into that. You could see there the mirrors. Jim Webb, that's what I talk about. They won the Ford Styling Award at SEMA, which, again, I believe was 98. They would have shot this, right after, I guess, presumably. And then, 3 to 6 month lead time-ish. Boom, that's where it gets you to June 99. You can see there it was the, the owner there, the builder. We talked about Dan Webb. Suspension 12-inch drop, Air Ride Technologies, and then, of course, Colorado Custom Wheels, which I wanted to point out, House of Color paint. But super insane. What do you guys think about this truck? It's just not, I think in the mini truck world, it's not ever mentioned. Now, I have posted about it a couple of times in the past, referencing this feature in Jim Ost, that feature that he shot, or this layout. Certainly an amazing truck. Now, where my mind always goes is if I was interviewing Dan Webb or someone that was involved in this. I'd want to know, where is this truck? Is it just part of someone's collection? I mean, it's just, God, it's a badass truck. What do you guys think? The engine bay, kind of ahead of its time in terms of mini trucks, you know, with the paneling in there. You can see no brake booster. Assuming, you know, it's behind the firewall. That's what we did on my S10. You can kind of see here, just a black bed liner type deal. It looks like in the bed. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Again, let me know what you guys think. Do you remember this truck? Do you remember this issue of Sport Truck? You think it belongs in the discussions of one of the greatest mini trucks built? Or does it get looked over just because it was on Sport Truck and no one really saw it at mini truck shows? Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for all the support. Shout out to Scraping the Coast, our title sponsor. We'll see you guys there in June in Biloxi. If you haven't subscribed, I'm going to go ahead and flash that now. Please subscribe, y'all. We at you. We at you. It's more like it.